7. Ryan Routh, the man charged in the that's risk. This is the President Donald shoot Trump.
Today's the first Alert 6 weather day. We're waiting for a round of strong storms later on tonight. So let's go through that hour-by-hour forecast and time out the risk. This is the most likely scenario. After 7 p.m., we'll be looking mainly north of the metro for storms to develop. I think we're going to start to see a lot of that around the 8 o'clock hour, and that starts to drop south. Initially, we may have a tornado spin up or two, but our main concern is going to be with wind and hail tonight. By 10 o'clock, we're likely looking at a very active picture into the metro. So between 9 to 10, that's really going to be the window to watch for those storms to initially push into the metro. They'll continue south, and by midnight, they start to lose some steam overall as far as organization, and they also start to push south of I-80. So our severe threat will be dwindling during the overnight hours, and we're left with just some lingering cloud cover and some scattered showers as you head out the door on Tuesday morning. Be taking a closer look at how this could impact the next 10 days with some cooler air coming in behind this system. A first alert to that coming up. Jacqueline.
All right, just in time for fall. Thanks, Emily.
Today, we are waiting on storms to get going, and they should be here within the next several hours. So far, though, sunshine in the metro. We're going to keep the forecast mainly dry until about 7 p.m. We have just the slightest chance of a few scattered showers out ahead of this main round of storms. And after 7 o'clock, the radar starts to get busy with our most active time frame for the metro, likely around 9 to 10 o'clock. That's when those storms should be pushing in. This comes not only with a threat for hail and strong winds, even a risk for a tornado spin up or two, but also the concern for some flash flooding with some heavy rain amounts possible. Take a look at what we could see, and this is going to be a pretty quick round of storms that could dump an inch to an inch and a half for a few locations, maybe a few spots closer to 2 inches with some of those heavy downpours that move through late tonight. Be taking a closer look at the timing of this system and what's in store for the next 10 days coming up. Jacqueline.
All right, Emily, thanks for the update. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office
actually warming us up, and that is not good news for our storms as they get here later on tonight. That could mean they are a little bit stronger. That's going to increase that severe threat for us. For now, pretty quiet picture on our satellite and radar, but that severe risk doesn't get here until after 7 o'clock. So we still have some time before those storms are going to make their move in. Thankfully, missing that evening commute, likely starting north of the metro and dropping south through the evening. Locally, that is a 2 out of 5 risk. We're mainly concerned with the risk for large hail and strong winds. You can see here where that's highlighted in the yellow shade. We could have hail as large as ping pong balls, gusts as high as 70 miles per hour, but we also have a low risk for maybe a tornado spin up or two, especially as these storms just begin to start. We'll take a closer look at the timing of all of this on the hour-by-hour forecast, take you through that evening coming up.
All right, looking forward to that. Thank you, Emily. Well,
we have been clearing out, and with the sunshine, we've seen a little bit of a temperature boost. That's just going to provide fuel for these storms as they approach later on this evening. Any lingering showers have been wrapping up. We still have a little bit ongoing out near Tacoma and Blair, but for the most part, we are dry and enjoying some blue sky. Now's the time to run those errands before the storms hit, and that's going to be after 7 o'clock tonight. You want to get your car into the garage. Main concern is going to be for large hail, up to ping pong ball size hail. On top of that, we also have a high wind risk, gusts as high as 70 miles per hour, and the risk, although low, for a few tornadoes to develop, especially as these storms initially get going right around that 7 to 8 o'clock window. Right now in the metro, we're still enjoying the sunshine. It's not going to be until likely after 8 p.m. for the metro that the main storm threat gets here, but we can't rule out something isolated just a little bit earlier than that. I'll be taking you through the hour-by-hour forecast and timing out the rest of this evening. That's coming up. Brian?
We'll see you in a bit, Emily. Thanks. Homeless camps.
Today's the first Alert 6 weather day. We're looking out for strong storms to move into the area after 7 o'clock tonight. That's going to be the main time frame to look out, especially through about midnight. After midnight, the severe threat will lower, And during that time frame, our main concerns will be for large hail and damaging wind gusts, but we also have a concern for flash flooding, and we can't rule out a tornado spin up or two. So let's go through the hour by hour forecast. For the rest of this evening up until about 7 o'clock, it is relatively quiet. Once we hit 7, we can't rule out maybe an isolated storm or two, but I would say by 8, we have a much more active picture on radar. We'll have a little bit of initial development out to the west, but what we're really going to be watching for the most widespread threat is whatever forms to the north. That's going to be tracking south. So around the metro, more than likely, we're waiting until about 9 to 10 for most of our thunderstorm threat to get here. But you'll notice initially by about 8, we can't rule out something spotty that moves in. By the time we hit about 9 to 10, that round of storms from the north is pushing south, and as that kind of lines up here, that's going to bring in that high wind concern, that risk for also some large hail, some heavy downpours. And once we hit about 11 to midnight, that main risk should be pushing south of I-80 and south of the metro. And as those storms move south, they lose some steam. So much lower severe risk, especially by midnight. You'll notice these kind of falling apart. They're not as organized. And what we're left with overnight, likely some weaker showers and storms and a few persistent showers into Tuesday, especially south of I-80, where we could have even a few weak thunderstorms and more heavy downpours through the day. Around the metro and areas north, we're going to stay cloudy with some intermittent showers and weak storms possible, mainly through about 3 p.m. Maybe an isolated sprinkle holding on into our Tuesday evening. Now, as far as the rainfall potential taking you through tonight into tomorrow morning, this is where we have that concern for flash flooding. This is a relatively quick round of storms, and it dumps some pretty heavy rain totals. Likely going to see some of our higher amounts staying between 1 inch to 1.5 inches, maybe an isolated 2 inches. Other spots that don't see the same consistent heavy downpour still picking up about 1/2 inch of rain or maybe even slightly more. So this is going to be a good round of soaking rain for a lot of us as well. Through the day tomorrow, we're keeping things cloudy and cool, but we're calming things down. We start off in the mid-60s. We climb from there, reaching for a high of 74. Don't plan on seeing much sunshine tomorrow. A high of 73 in Plattsmouth and Wahoo, 71 in Red Oak, and a high of 69 around Clarinda. From there, we're going to stay pleasant through the middle of the week. Wednesday and Thursday, best days to get outside. By Friday, it's not bad, but we're a little breezy. High of 83, and we'll stay warm from there with high temperatures hanging out in the low 80s through most of next week with a mainly dry forecast. You can stay on top of the forecast by downloading our First Alert 6 weather app. You can find that free in the App Store. We're keeping a close eye on radar tonight.